I don't like talking about Trump.
Well, that is kind of, I think, where we're getting to. This is the.
I mean, look.
What's the off ramp here, Friedberg? What's the end game?
You guys remember how the Emperor came to power in Star Wars? He was Palpatine turned the Republic against itself, and then he
emergency powers.
Look, to Sax's point, like I care more deeply. I care very little about Trump the person, and I care more deeply about the motivations of people that want a person like that in power, and I care more deeply about the way the dialogue is happening to resolve ideas and to resolve to decisions in this country right now. That is why I think that, in my vote last year, in our last 2 podcasts ago, which seems like 10 years ago, was that the biggest political failure of 2020 is the Institute of American Democracy. And it's only gotten worse in the last 2 weeks. And I think that the mechanism by which we have debate is lost. It's from everyone from the Republican to the Democratic leadership. It is attacking and finger pointing, and there is no resolve for forgiveness. There is everything is all about justice and winning. And there is no resolve for objectivity and discovering the truth and doing the best thing for people, not the best thing for party, and doing the best thing for country. And that's really easy to say and really, really hard to do, as I think everyone is realizing. Because as soon as you say, let's bring the country together, half the country raises their hand and says, but I want justice, and we can't come together till we have justice. And so at what point do you break the cycle? Revenge never ends until someone steps down first and says, you know what, I give up. I'm going to end up in the losing position. But at that point, maybe reconciliation can begin. And I'm more concerned about the heat, the temperature, and everyone says turn it down, but no one's actually turning it down. And so, the legacy of Trump, I honestly care less about. I care much more about going forward. How do we resolve to decisions that aren't all about the Democrats overrunning? And I was actually upset about Georgia, because I do think it's a problem if you have a one-party state and we don't have balance, and we don't have a forum for conversation, and we don't have a forum, for coming to kind of objective sentiment that's best for the people. And so, I'm much more interested in flipping the conversation away from Trump and trying to think about, going forward, what are the things, what are the forums, what are the mechanisms that we can have to create equity in the country, to create reconciliation, to create balance in decision making, and to turn down the temperature so that Chancellor Palpatine doesn't become the evil emperor, and that we don't lose to China, and all the things that are kind of emerging as being the unfortunate outcomes. Yeah.